Whenever I find a good deal on Mandarin oranges, I stock up on them because I love being able to can them. They're such a great thing to be able to just pull out of the pantry and there you go, you've got your oranges, and so much less expensive than buying the canned ones at the store. The first thing I need to do is peel all of my oranges. One of the nice things about the mandarins is that they're far easier to peel. I want to make sure that I remove as much of that white membrane as I can. Sometimes I need to open it up in order to do so, but other times it'll come straight out. I have two different choices. I can either put my mandarins in whole, or I can put them in as segments. The plus side with doing them whole is that you don't have to worry about breaking them apart. The plus side about doing segments is that more actually fits in the jar. And it takes a little bit of work to get the center of the white out of this mandarin. So now I'll load up my 1/2 pint jars, leaving 1/2 inch of headspace. One of the ways that I like taking the center out of that orange is with a straw. I do it kind of gently, but as you work it, it just takes the end out right there. And then I can place it in whole. I try not to pierce the skin because if I end up breaking it, then a lot of the juices will go out and it'll kind of mix with the water that's in there and essentially dilute the flavor. So 26 pounds of the mandarins made the equivalent of 67 1/2 pint jars worth. I did only 8 1/2 pints with the full oranges, and that's because only 2 of them fit in that. But if I'm going to actually segment them out, it's about 2.5 oranges per jar. I knew I was running out. Actually, it kind of worked out well because I ended up having to do some pints as well, so I'll just give you directions for that at the same time. I like to can my oranges in a light syrup, so I'll do 1 tablespoon of sugar in each 1/2 pint jars and 2 tablespoons of sugar in my pint-sized jars. If I wanted it to be a heavy syrup, I would do twice that much. So I'd do 2 tablespoons in the 1/2 pints and 4 tablespoons in the pints. Now I'll fill up my jars with hot water until 1/2 inch of headspace. Headspace is a space from the top of the food to the top of the jar. I'll then use a chopstick to debubble my jars. I run it up and down the edges and it just releases any trapped air bubbles. I'll then use a clean damp cloth to wipe off the rim of my jars so that if anything got on the edge that it won't interfere with the seal. I'll then place my lids and rings on until they're fingertip tight. I'm using Superb canning lids today, which are my new favorite because they have this super squishy blue seal. I just feel like it does such a good job of holding on and sealing to my jars. I have a 20% off discount code as well as a link in my description below. Now I'll place these in my boiling water bath, submerged by 1 to 2 inches of water, and the processing time will actually be the same for both the pints and the 1/2 pints. I'll process them for 10 minutes if I'm at sea level. I'm at 1,200 feet, so I'll process them for 15, but I won't start my timer until after it begins to boil. Now that my timer's gone off, I'll remove the lid, turn off the heat, and let it cool down for 5 minutes. I then remove my jars and place them on a heat-resistant surface about 1 to 2 inches apart so that they can cool down quickly. I leave them there for 24 hours so that they can get a good seal. I can tell that they have a good seal if the center of the lid has depressed down. If it has, then I remove the ring, wash off the outside with hot soapy water, and place them in a cool, dry, dark location, like my pantry, and use them in the next 1 to 3 years. If I had any that didn't seal, I would place it in the refrigerator and use it right away. Now, because of the way that we did the sugar in the jars, where I didn't actually make the syrup beforehand, but I put the sugar on the top, what I'm doing is I'm relying on osmosis to move it throughout the entire jar. I wouldn't want to open this until it's been at least 2 weeks. That gives osmosis time to do its job.